Hello viewer, I wasn't actually going to do a video today, but I feel I must do one about this specific subject. Round about late last night, I was just, before I was going to bed, obviously, I was just having a look on a particular thread that I follow, and all of a sudden these screenshots came up on the Organ Grinders Twitter account. Obviously I'm banned from that, like probably most people who watch the videos, and basically I think he's subsequently gone in and deleted all the comments, so I'm glad somebody screenshotted them. They were there last night but they're gone now, and I think it was in response to Fat Boy putting up a tweet saying it's actually, he's retweeted something about for over 6 years, inquiries CSA, for over 6 years the inquiries listened to victims and survivors of child sex abuse. Now we're proud to put their voices at the heart of a new project, placing benches with messages of hope in locations across England and Wales. And Lloyd Evans goes on to say, we couldn't be arsed getting the full data on how much abuse goes on within #Jehovah's Witnesses. We didn't want to trouble Paul Gillies by asking why 30 accused elders and servants went unreported, but here have some benches. So basically he's commenting on the fact that he's not particularly pleased with these benches allegedly going across England and Wales about dealing with this, sort of memorial to the victims of child sex abuse. So of course, because he mentions CSA, somebody who obviously wasn't banned but clearly is now banned is somebody who had the username of Thai Pleasures at Thai Pleasures, and the little picture was that infamous picture which I may actually use for the thumbnail for this video of Lloyd Evans, and obviously a Thai girl who's got her hand across her face, not looking like she's enjoying the moment. So basically I'll read the interaction between Thai Pleasures and the man who actually went over to Thailand to enjoy Thai Pleasures. And it's ironic, isn't it? It should be Thai Pleasures and Thai Pleasures. So anyway, I'll do Thai Pleasures first. This is the made up fictional account. So basically in response to that tweet, Thai Pleasures puts up, look who is speaking of abuse. Lloyd Evans went to a highly trafficked country, Thailand, and engaged with sex workers who were likely victims. He still won't apologise. Now, you do your job and get the hell off this topic. Just getting any job really, to be honest with you, but I don't think Evans knows what a job is. It's probably been that long since he actually did any work. Clearly he doesn't even feels it's too beneath him to clean his own apartment. He has to get in a cleaner to clean his own apartment because it's too beneath him, because obviously that's what Mrs. Evans used to do. And so the bearded double neck comes in with, if you're going to defame me, again, this thing, he hasn't defamed, isn't defaming you, you useless arsehole. He's actually saying what you've admitted. If you're going to defame me, at least have the balls to do it under a real name. It's not a crime to go to Thailand, well, we know that, but it is illegal to engage the services of a prostitute over there. It is illegal. In fact, it's mostly illegal in most countries. But clearly he doesn't think breaking the law is not a crime. That's funny, because people get locked up. That's the whole basis of a crime. A crime is something that you do which is against the law, which can end up you getting arrested and spending some time in jail, because you break the law, you commit a crime. But apparently it's not a crime to go to Thailand, and your claims about engaging with sex workers there are utter lies. Now the plot thickens. Not that you care much about the truth or abuse victims for that matter. Now, oh my God, just think about this. He's saying that he's going back to this guy, Thai Pleasure, and saying you don't care much about the truth or abuse victims for that matter. This is the man that went around interviewing abuse victims, who subsequently has said they wanted to pull out of the project The Truth About the Truth film documentary, because they realised that he had gone to Thailand and had engaged in sex, not in sex, but he paid for sex with girls who looked about 20, who were probably victims of child sex abuse, because in that country it's infamous for having child prostitutes, and child prostitutes, once they become older, don't all of a sudden say, now I'm going to be a cleaner for Lloyd Evans. You know, usually they carry on in the game until they're completely and utterly wrecked, basically. So he says, not that you care much about the truth or abuse victims for that matter. And he replies, that's Thai Pleasures replies, where are the lies? Good question. You admitted to it, you hypocrite. You said just that to Andrew Gold. So Fatboy replies, you admitted to it. I admitted to cheating. Not every last thing your Magnificent Seven have accused me of. Funny enough, that phrase Magnificent Seven, I have to own that phrase, because it was me who actually coined that phrase. From the moment I realised that it whittled it down to 7, I wasn't one of them. I think I was the first person to tweet and also put it on the thread, the picture of the Magnificent Seven. I thought it was appropriate. So, and I did actually tweet to him about the Magnificent Seven, but hey ho, I'm banned and I can never tweet him again. So I'm just going to own that phrase, just in case it goes down in infamy. Anyway, so again he says, again you're hurling abuse from the comfort of total anonymity, like the coward you are. Real name on contact details, or shut up silly troll. So Thai Pleasures goes back with, liar. You admitted to seeing sex workers in Thailand on your Facebook post. You also told Andrew Gold you were dating one. And then he goes on to, then the Thai Pleasures goes on to go through a lot. He does this thing about the Thailand sex industry, he's quoting thing that Lloyd actually said, a long print up Lloyd actually says. So he puts it in just to confirm, by the way, you admitted to it. So, and here we go, this is where we go again. So he goes, this is the end of this. So he goes, seeing a sex worker meant dating one. I had no idea when I made the Facebook post that cowardly, filthy minds like yours would spin such a sinister narrative. If I'm a liar, give your full name and details, otherwise you're just another cowardly troll. Now, here we go again. I've already done this once before, but I thought I thought he would not come back with this whole thing about dating a sex worker. Because remember, he said it in the Andrew Gold thing. He says, yeah, I should know, I dated a sex worker. And at the time, I actually said, in response to that, I'm thinking, did he say he dated a sex worker? I've just got the Wikipedia explanation of dating. Dating is a stage of romantic relationships in which two individuals engage in activity together, most often with the intention of evaluating each other's suitability as a partner in future intimate relations. Right, so basically, what he's insinuating here is that he somehow met this lassie. Where did he meet her? And somehow engaged in romantic relations with her to find out if there was a suitability between the two of them, whether they should take it further and engage in more intimate relationships. So maybe the long-term goal is that eventually that, you know, you maybe crack on, build a relationship, get engaged, and maybe get married. That's the whole game of dating there. I'm sure that's it. I'm sure I haven't missed anything. The end game is eventually find out the suitability of this person, maybe get a little bit intimate, find out if you're compatible, take it a little bit further, see each other a bit longer, maybe get engaged, and finally, you know, get married. That sort of stuff. That's it always starts off with dating. But somehow he went over to Thailand and started dating a sex worker. The reason why he's saying dating a sex worker is because, as we all know, for all that is cult followers out there, to go to a country which is infamous for child sex abuse and child prostitutes, to say that you went in over and paid for sex with a prostitute who looks about 20, has all the connotations that, you know, you're just a filthy, dirty twat. And by saying that he then he dated a sex worker, it just completely takes away, you know, what he actually did. I would love him to explain, and I don't know whether he watches my videos, I really don't. I would love him to explain how many dates he says he dated. How did he date this person? Because I would have thought, to be honest with you, if this was a sex worker, let's just say a prostitute who looked about 20, who probably started early on in the game, was probably sex trafficked and probably was a child sex prostitute, and I'd love to know how she got nights off. How did she get days off? Because these girls are working long hours. And a lot of these girls are owned over there by criminal gangs. You know, did he, you know, I don't think he went and travelled like 300 miles to see a parent and say, is it appropriate that I date your daughter? I don't think that happened. At the end of the day, I'm sure a lot of these girls are owned by gangs, and I don't think he went over to a gang master and say, is there any chance I could spend tomorrow evening in the company of whoever this girl is? And they say, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Knowing that they're going to lose potentially an income of, based on how many hours that Lloyd was with her, you know, they're going to say, well, hold on a second, this girl, within the 3 hours that you're going to be dating her, over the next couple of weeks, 3 hours, maybe another 6 hours, 9 hours, that she's going to lose X amount of money, and that amount of money, we take the majority of it to pay for her shitty digs, and to buy her shitty clothes, and to give her, you know, to say that she can work in this particular spot. It's just, honestly, I kid you not, this guy just goes lower down in my estimation. You know, every time he comes out with bullshit like this, it's just unbelievable. Who goes to Thailand and has sex with a prostitute who probably started early on when they were a child, and then comes back and then says, oh no, I just dated her? Who does that? Who does that? The only person who does that is somebody who does not have the balls. And the thing is, he actually says to this person, you know, he actually says, what did he say to her? He says something like, he actually uses the word balls. If you're going to defame me, at least have the balls to do it under a real name. Well, man alive. You know, if somebody needs balls here, it's him to own up and actually say, actually, fair dues, for the past 4 years before that, I was using prostitutes wherever I went to on a regular basis. Every few months I was using prostitutes. And when I went to Thailand, a country infamous for prostitution and child prostitutes, I did it again. Hands in the air, yeah, I did it. But no, when he just thought, shit, you know, I'm supposed to be an advocate against the cover-up of child sex abuse. I've gone over to a country infamous for child sex abuse. I better not admit that I actually paid for a prostitute over there who might have been the victim of CSA. So the best way to unravel all this and to keep my integrity and intact and my legacy intact was actually to say, no, I didn't pay for sex. I just dated a sex worker. What a coward. He talks about this guy, he talks about Thai pleasures as being a coward because he won't reveal his name. Honestly, for the love of God, is it only me? It can't just me that sees what's going on here. And I do not understand, for all those who keep constantly putting comments on my videos when some of them, well, a few recently, have been about this guy. I said, leave him alone. He's done nothing wrong. Is that all you've got to say? And I've had to explain in details, hold on a second, this is the problem. So what, he cheated? They go, so what, he cheated on his wife? I don't even care if this guy was even married. I don't care if he had children. That's a problem he's got, you know, with Mrs. Evans and his kids. I don't care about that, you know, part of this whole sordid story. It's the fact that he allegedly stood up for the victims of CSA and then goes over to Thailand, uses these girls, and then comes back and has the audacity to just say that, oh no, I was just dating them. And still thinks he can then go on and tweet anything about CSA. And I actually said that my very first video, when the shit in the fan, when I saw that live stream event and realised what happened, I actually then said, I think the video was, is this the end of the Lloyd Evans and the John Cedars channel? Is this the end? And in that video, going back months now, I stated, that because of what's happened in Thailand, that he could no longer, there were certain subjects for him were now completely off the tape, you know, they were just, you can't talk certain subjects anymore because of what's happened in Thailand. Yet this guy still thinks he can comment about them, and doesn't realise what a hypocrite he is when he does. I honestly, I'm stunned. I'm literally stunned about this. But anyway, it just doesn't surprise me. Yeah, anyway, if you are listening, please explain, if you dated a sex worker, how many dates you went on, what you actually did with dates, and whether at the end of the dating process, was there any money paid to either this person you dated or to somebody who probably owned her. Just why don't you grow a great big hairy pair and actually just give us the details, because this is such a sore point with a lot, probably of everything. That everything, you know, so he has used prostitutes in the past, but the fact of this whole Thailand escapade, and this is the thing which finished, obviously, Kim Sylvia, which why she said people need to know this. This is the sticking point, and he can't see this, and he seems to think that everybody is saying that he went over and engaged. And he did say, I'm sure he did say that he had sex over there, and they were all over 20. I'd love to know, honestly, I'd love to know a little bit more about that, but clearly he's not going to admit that, even though this is what has ultimately finished him with a lot of people, and including me, because of this. And he still will not say sorry. So that's the end of today's video. I wasn't going to do it, I was actually going to crack on and have a day not doing a video, but I thought I must respond to this because it really got my back up, to be honest with you. Honestly, I wish I could meet this guy. Honestly, I'd love to meet him, just bump into him and just say, just actually ask him all those questions, which he's never ever going to answer them, because he knows, heart of hearts, that he's completely and utterly wrong. But he won't do it. Now there's a guy who hasn't got any balls, and there's a coward. Anyway, goodbye.